Have you ever heard of a country where strangers call each other love? Where a tiny village of just 100 people sends out over 10,000 love letters every year? And where the government actually passed laws to protect leprechauns? This isn't a fairy tale. This is Ireland, and what you're about to discover will completely change how you see this Emerald Island. Today, we're diving deep into 15 mind-blowing facts about Ireland that prove it's the most unusual country on Earth. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be booking your flight to Dublin. Every September, the small town of Lisdoonvarna in Western Ireland transforms into something that sounds impossible in the modern world. Over 40,000 singles from across Europe, the United States, and Asia flock to this town of just 700 residents for the largest matchmaking festival in Europe. The Lisdoonvarna Matchmaking Festival has been running for over 160 years, making it older than the telephone, the automobile, and obviously the internet. At the heart of the festival is Willie Daly, one of Ireland's most famous matchmakers and a third-generation professional matchmaker. He carries a love notebook that's over 150 years old, containing information about thousands of romantic candidates. According to local legend, if you touch this book with both hands, you'll be married within 6 months. But here's what makes this festival truly unique. You can actually get trial married for 3 days. Couples participate in mock wedding ceremonies complete with rings, photos, and small parties, then part ways with laughter on the 4th day. The festival runs for 30 days with over 80 events including music, folk dancing, and evening parties where people might meet their soulmate while waltzing or ordering a pint of Guinness. There are no age, appearance, or background restrictions. Everyone from young first-time lovers to widowers looking for companionship has a chance to find love. Over 3,000 couples have found lasting love through this festival, earning Lisdoonvarna the title of the only love town in the world that can change your life in just 72 hours. Ireland has the second highest percentage of natural redheads in the world, with approximately 10% of the population sporting fiery locks. Only Scotland has a higher percentage, but in certain regions of Ireland like Galway and Kerry, the concentration of redheads is unmatched anywhere on Earth. Red hair in Ireland is linked to the MC1R gene, a rare genetic mutation that produces red pigment. Only 1 to 2% of people worldwide carry this gene, but in Ireland, that number jumps nearly tenfold. This gene is also connected to better absorption of vitamin D in sun-deprived climates, making it perfectly adapted to Ireland's typically gray skies. But here's what's fascinating about Irish culture and red hair. In Ireland, red hair paired with light freckles and fair skin is considered the definition of classic Celtic beauty. It appears in everything from Renaissance paintings to modern advertising campaigns. Ireland has even hosted redhead conventions in Cork, where thousands of redheads from around the world gather to celebrate themselves. These events include singing competitions, barefoot races, flower crown making, and group photos that create stunning visual displays of genetic diversity. Now, here's a story that sounds like pure fiction, but is absolutely true. There's a tiny village in Ireland with fewer than 100 residents that sends out over 10,000 love letters every year to people all around the world. This village operates a special Valentine's Day post office that only functions during February. People from the United States, Germany, Japan, and Brazil send letters to this Irish village, not to anyone specific, but just to receive a random love letter from a stranger somewhere in the world. The letters are written by volunteers, including a 92-year-old woman known as Ireland's Cupid, who personally writes over 300 handwritten letters each year in purple ink. Each letter is stamped with a heart-shaped seal bearing the village's name, creating stamps that collectors worldwide seek like gold. But here's the incredible part. There have been documented cases of couples who fell in love and got married simply because of a Valentine's letter sent from this Irish village. The power of handwritten words in an age of digital communication has created real romantic connections across continents. This sounds like something from a fantasy novel, but it's absolutely true. The Irish government passed legislation in 2009 specifically designed to protect leprechauns and other mythical creatures. The legislation, known colloquially as the Leprechaun laws, designates certain areas as protected habitats for mythical beings. These areas cannot be developed or disturbed, ostensibly to preserve the homes of leprechauns, fairies, and other creatures from Irish folklore. The law also protects fairy forts, which are ancient ring-shaped earthworks found throughout Ireland. These structures, some over 2,000 years old, are considered sacred in Irish folklore. Until just a few years ago, Ireland didn't have street names or house numbers. That's right, in a modern European country, people were living without what we consider basic addressing systems. Imagine trying to give someone directions to your house and saying, "It's the blue house near the big oak tree, past Murphy's farm. You can't miss it." That was literally how things worked in rural Ireland for centuries. The postal system relied entirely on local postmen who knew every family in their area personally. When visitors arrived at Dublin Airport and immigration officers asked for their address, tourists would hand over pieces of paper with descriptions like the cottage with the red door in Killarney or O'Brien's place near the church. Immigration officers would just laugh and stamp their passports because this was completely normal. The Irish government only introduced postcodes called Air Code in 2015, making Ireland one of the last developed countries to adopt a modern addressing system. Even today, many rural areas still rely on local knowledge rather than GPS coordinates. This isn't backwardness. It's a reflection of Ireland's incredibly tight-knit communities where everyone knows everyone. This addressing system actually reveals something profound about Irish culture. In a world obsessed with efficiency and standardization, Ireland prioritized human connections over bureaucratic convenience. The postman wasn't just delivering mail, he was maintaining the social fabric of the community. Speaking of community connections, let's talk about something that shocks every visitor to Ireland. Irish people will literally greet every stranger they meet on the street. Not just in small villages, but even in cities like Dublin and Cork. If you're walking down a country road in Ireland, every car that passes will give you a little wave. Every person you meet will say, "How are you?" and actually wait for an answer. This isn't superficial politeness, it's a deeply ingrained cultural practice that dates back centuries. During times of hardship, particularly during the Great Famine of the 1840s, Irish communities survived by looking out for each other. Greeting strangers wasn't just friendly, it was a way to identify people who might need help, or to share important information about conditions ahead. Today, this tradition continues in ways that amaze visitors. American tourists often report feeling overwhelmed by the genuine warmth of Irish people. One travel blogger wrote about asking for directions in Dublin and ending up being invited to a family dinner because the conversation was so engaging. But here's the fascinating paradox. While Irish people are incredibly welcoming on the surface, forming deep friendships with them can be surprisingly difficult. This isn't unfriendliness, it's protective caution developed over centuries of occupation and hardship. Irish people learn to be warm to everyone while keeping their inner circles tight and secure. The phrase Irish goodbye actually refers to leaving a party without saying goodbye to anyone, which seems to contradict their friendly nature. But it makes sense when you understand that Irish social interactions often become so engaging that properly saying goodbye to everyone could take hours. Everyone knows Ireland is green, but what most people don't realize is that Ireland is literally the greenest country on Earth. We're not talking metaphorically here. Satellite images show that over 80% of Ireland is covered in vegetation, giving it more green coverage per square kilometer than any other nation. The reason for this incredible greenness isn't just the famous Irish rain. Ireland experiences between 150 and 225 rainy days per year, but it's the specific type of rain that makes the difference. Irish rain tends to be light and consistent rather than heavy downpours, creating perfect conditions for grass growth. Johnny Cash famously wrote a song called 40 Shades of Green after visiting Ireland in 1959, and he wasn't exaggerating. Standing in the meadows of County Kerry or the hills of Wicklow, you can actually see dozens of different green hues in a single view. Each passing cloud changes the light and reveals new shades of emerald, lime, olive, and moss. This incredible grass quality has made Ireland a paradise for dairy farming. Irish cows eat real grass year-round, not processed feed, which is why Irish butter, milk, and cheese are considered among the finest in the world. The European Union has special protected designation status for Irish dairy products because of their unique quality. But here's something most people don't know. The greenness of Ireland is actually increasing. Climate change has extended the growing season, and modern farming techniques have improved grass quality. Ireland today is literally greener than it was 50 years ago. The Irish have over 40 different words for various types of rain, from soft rain to lashing rain to spitting rain. Each type creates different effects on the landscape, contributing to the incredible variety of green shades that make Ireland unique. Here's something that will shock Americans. Irish police, called An Garda Síochána, which means guardians of the peace, are almost entirely unarmed. In a country of over 5 million people, regular police officers don't carry guns. Ireland has approximately 7 civilian firearms per 100 people, compared to 120 guns per 100 people in the United States. This incredibly low gun ownership rate means that Irish police rarely encounter armed criminals, making guns unnecessary for routine policing. This approach has created one of the safest countries in Europe. Ireland's murder rate is less than 1 per 100,000 people annually, compared to over 5 per 100,000 in the United States. Violent crime is so rare that it makes national news when it occurs. Ireland has become the most expensive country in Europe for alcohol, and it's completely changing one of the world's most famous drinking cultures. The Irish government implemented minimum unit pricing in 2022, setting a floor price of over $1 for every 10 grams of alcohol. This makes Ireland more expensive for drinking than even Switzerland or Norway. A pint of Guinness in Dublin now costs around $7 to $8 compared to $3 to $4 just 5 years ago. But here's what's fascinating. Despite alcohol being central to Irish culture for centuries, the Irish are adapting in unexpected ways. Sober pubs are opening across the country, offering all the social atmosphere of traditional pubs without the alcohol. These venues serve elaborate mocktails, craft sodas, and create the same community gathering spaces that made Irish pubs famous worldwide. The traditional Irish pub culture runs deeper than just drinking. Pubs have historically been community centers where people discuss politics, share news, celebrate life events, and mourn losses together. The challenge now is maintaining this social fabric while addressing Ireland's complicated relationship with alcohol. According to recent statistics, 44% of Irish adults drink alcohol at least once a week, and the average Irish person consumes 10 liters of pure alcohol per year. However, the government's pricing strategy is specifically designed to reduce harmful drinking patterns while preserving the positive aspects of pub culture. What's remarkable is how Irish communities are innovating around these changes. Some pubs now offer dry hours where no alcohol is served, focusing instead on traditional music sessions, storytelling, and community discussions. Others have expanded their food offerings and created family-friendly environments during daytime hours. The famous Temple Bar in Dublin, established in 1840, now charges premium prices that even locals consider excessive. A single whiskey can cost $15 to $20, making it primarily a tourist destination rather than a local gathering place. Hurling is considered one of the world's fastest and oldest field sports, with references dating back to 1272 BC. But what makes this sport truly extraordinary is that UNESCO has included it on the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity, recognizing it as a cultural treasure that must be preserved for future generations. Hurling is played with a small ball called a slider and curved wooden sticks called hurleys. The game moves at incredible speed, with the slider reaching speeds of over 100 miles per hour. Players catch, balance, and strike the ball while running at full speed, creating a spectacle that combines athleticism, skill, and artistry. What's remarkable about hurling is that it has remained essentially unchanged for over 3,000 years. The basic rules, equipment, and playing style that exist today would be recognizable to ancient Celtic warriors. This continuity makes hurling one of the oldest continuously played sports in human history. The Irish actually drink more tea per capita than the English. Each Irish person consumes an average of 1,400 cups of tea per year, ranking Ireland in the top 3 countries for tea consumption worldwide, just behind Turkey and ahead of England. In Ireland, tea isn't just a beverage, it's a cultural institution. Every day around 11 a.m. and 3 to 4 p.m., you'll see offices, schools, hospitals, and even construction sites pause for tea time. No one questions this ritual. They call it a cuppa break, and it's as sacred as a small ceremony in the day. But here's what makes Irish tea culture unique. The Irish don't just drink tea to stay awake or warm up. They drink it to heal emotions and process life experiences. There's even a specific ritual called a cuppa and a cry, which involves sitting down with tea and allowing yourself to cry comfortably to relieve stress and emotional pain. Halloween was born in Ireland over 2,000 years ago as an ancient Celtic festival called Samhain. Samhain marked the end of the harvest season and the beginning of winter. But more importantly, the Celts believed this was when the boundary between the living world and the spirit world became thinnest. During this time, spirits could easily cross into our world, which is why people began leaving out offerings to appease them. This tradition evolved into modern trick-or-treating. The costumes we wear today also developed from this ancient Irish festival. Celtic people would dress up in frightening outfits to hide from malevolent spirits that might be wandering the earth. They believed that by disguising themselves, they could avoid being recognized and harmed by supernatural beings. Irish Halloween traditions include specific foods like barmbrack, a sweetbread containing hidden objects that predict the future. Finding a ring means marriage within a year, a coin predicts wealth, and a piece of cloth suggests poverty. These fortune-telling traditions connect modern celebrations to ancient divination practices. Irish names are famous for being impossible to pronounce if you don't know the rules, but there's a fascinating reason behind this linguistic mystery. Irish names are derived from Gaeilge, one of the oldest written languages in the world, with spelling rules that have remained largely unchanged for over 1,000 years. Take the name Siobhan, which is pronounced Shivach, or Nia, pronounced Nev. These aren't random spellings designed to confuse people. They represent ancient Gaelic pronunciation rules that predate English influence in Ireland. The Irish alphabet traditionally had only 18 letters, excluding J, K, Q, V, W, X, Y, and Z from the Latin script. Here's what makes this even more interesting. Many Irish names carry deep cultural and mythological significance. Niamh was a goddess in Irish mythology who lived in Tir na Nog, the land of eternal youth. Siobhan is the Irish version of Joan, meaning God is gracious. These names connect modern Irish people to their ancient heritage in ways that English names simply cannot. Ireland's famous greenness isn't just beautiful, it's actually a powerful weapon against climate change that most people don't understand. Ireland's grasslands and peat bogs store massive amounts of carbon, making this small island nation a significant carbon sink for the entire planet. But here's where it gets really interesting. Ireland's traditional farming methods, particularly grass-fed cattle grazing, actually enhance carbon storage when done correctly. Irish cows eat real grass year-round rather than processed feed, and their grazing patterns help maintain healthy grassland ecosystems that continue absorbing carbon from the atmosphere. The Irish government has recognized this environmental advantage and is developing policies to maximize Ireland's carbon storage potential. This includes protecting existing peat bogs from development and restoring damaged wetlands to their natural carbon-storing capacity. Ireland is the only country where professional storytelling, called seanchai, remains a living tradition that influences everything from business to politics to daily conversation. Seanchai were traditionally the keepers of Irish culture, memorizing and passing down thousands of stories. Legends and historical accounts before writing became common. This storytelling culture has produced an incredible number of world-famous writers relative to Ireland's small population. Ireland has won the Nobel Prize in Literature 4 times, more than any country except France. Writers like James Joyce, W.B. Yeats, Samuel Beckett, and Seamus Heaney all emerge from this culture that values language, narrative, and the power of words. What surprised you most about Ireland? Share your thoughts in the comments below and let me know which fact made you want to book a flight to Dublin immediately. Until next time, keep exploring the unusual corners of our amazing world. We are so glad you are with us today. Please leave a comment, like the video to support us, and subscribe for more videos. See you soon.